road to Concord! Pass the word!
So many things were brought together on the film, Let It Begin Here, to create this briefest of moments in American history.
The Battle of Lexington is it's the shot heard around the world. It ignited the American Revolution. It's on the same wavelength as the Alamo.
No one has accurately, with all the historical detail that we do know of this event that was a direct result of the Boston Tea Party, which portrayed it on film the way that we are. So there's a unique opportunity to pour everything in on this moment because it is just so important.
I think because of the scale of the story, the importance of the story, it felt like we wanted to get every detail right.
We have created a film that will entertain, it will educate, and it will be a dramatic recreation of this important moment in American history that was really what started it all and established the United States of America as one of the greatest nations on earth.
We will not be provocative. And therefore, do not act out, as we will not fire unless fired upon. Stand your ground. But if they mean to have a war, let it begin here.
Let's go again, Toby. Take the first mark.
Historic Tourism America was founded in 1980 as a sightseeing company, and today we operate in 6 cities. And so the making of Let It Begin Here is the culmination of so many things that we've learned over the years in running historic museums. The film is part of the museum offering that we'll have at the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum. The idea was to tell the story of what led up to the American Revolution. We knew that we needed to have a piece that would show in graphic detail as best that history has recorded the facts surrounding it in a film. So this began our search to find a team to put together an authentic piece that was not only factually correct as we understand it and know it today, but also with the implementation of today's technology and filming and projection and the final product.
Action on rehearsal.
What is it? Sam, from Dr. Warren. The regulars are in the countryside.
Our specialty is creating history for film, either our own projects or for others, and trying to help them to bring historical truth to the film so the audience really gets a flavor of the period. But what we try to do is develop a story and a concept on how to include strictly authentic, very layered and detailed scenes for the new museum.
It's not a fictional story. These are the characters that created this country, and it kind of felt like we had a responsibility to do it as accurately as we could to make it perfect.
An overriding concern for us as the executive producers, the director of photography, was what was going to be the experience of the audience. And we think that we have achieved something that is going to capture this moment in history, where these small group of colonists are standing up against the greatest nation on earth. And I think when this film ends, there's going to be this incredible feeling that you participated, you were there at that moment. And that, of course, is our main mission, is if we can make people feel this moment, they'll never forget it.
This museum, from its inception, has been set up to give Boston, New England, that kind of the heart of the Revolution, a place, a destination to go to learn about the events that led to the American Revolution. That's where the hub of the events occurred, and that's where the heart of this museum will be. And this film kind of touches on this event that was a direct result of the Boston Tea Party.
We didn't have to make up anything. We didn't have to take things out or put things in to make it a more dramatic, compelling, interesting story. The characters were real, and we've tried to make them real in the film. The events were real, and they are as accurately portrayed as we can possibly make them.
For me, us as reenactors, the amount of effort we put into our look, our kit, it's very important that that's to some extent that's respected. And I think the thing that sets a historic film like this apart is putting the authenticity of the look and the feel on the same level with telling a good story.
My job on this film is to make sure everything that appears on camera is as historically accurate as possible. The equipment is all researched. Everything is researched based on originals or artwork from the period. Everybody that appears on film has a documented, historically accurate impression. Everything that they're wearing is hand-sewn, tailored to fit their body. It's custom-made.
Well, the outfit that I'm wearing is fashioned after a third quarter of the 18th century civilian. And the breeches are actually made from 200-year-old homespun linen that I bought in Pennsylvania, had walnut dyed, and subsequently made a pair of original fake breeches. But this is period cloth.
This is a coat made of wool. It is lined in wool, and I'm wearing a wool waistcoat with a linen lining, and behind that I have a linen shirt, all held together by a nice velvet neck stock. And of course, this is a very warm uniform in the winter and a very, very warm uniform in the summer.
I just have to say the reenactors never flagged. They were working in 96, 97 degree temperature in wool costumes and late at night, and they all carried off their parts to such a degree of reality that I think people are going to be very impressed.
I really tried to work with all the department heads, whether it be wardrobe, hair and makeup, props, set dressing, set construction, creating a uniformed image, how the troops should look, the colonists should look, the aspects of the different buildings, trying to match them as close as we can to Lexington Green.
Yeah. I think you could, that's cool, that's believable right there. Yeah. Any more, it looks, yeah.
Right there is where it's at then.
Every person here either has a historian background, or they've been working with a company for such a long period of time that they know what is anticipated of them.
Most people that do makeup don't necessarily do period hair and makeup. Wardrobe people don't necessarily have access to the wardrobe of the time period. And that's one benefit that our group has with this, is that, you know, we've done several dozen projects over the years and are able to kind of tightly coordinate.
We've paid a lot of attention into wardrobing, especially getting the proper weapons in the hands of both the colonists and the British troops, trying to get the right accoutrements on the guys, their cartridge boxes, their waist belts, swords. It's challenging at times because this stuff is not readily available. A lot of times we have to personally make the things or seek out sources that do have them.
The guns that we brought are all reproduction of the period. We've brought about, I would say, between 25 and 30 firearms to this. They are spot on. They're all firing, operating reproductions.
This is a 1750s period English Fowler with Birmingham proofs, iron barrel, and she will still fire. And so I like to carry it for film work, especially because it again is real and it does work.
We've brought some really neat New England Fowlers, some period British Brown Bess muskets that fit the period. Some of the equipment, the bags and the powder horns for the militia, to me help make the whole show round it out and fill it out. They're little things that people would have had that make it real.
When you're riding in, if you look to your left right now into those trees, imagine like a farm over there.
A lot of times for a historical project, it's really hard to shoot in the original locations because of development. Most of the streets have been paved. There aren't dirt roads that look like the dirt roads back then. You don't get the silence because everything in America has a flight path over top of it. For this, we actually shot at an existing site, which was actually a location used for John Adams, another historic movie. It happened to have a couple historic structures that were purpose-built on the site that worked really good for the town of Lexington, the way it was laid out for our final scene in the battle.
We shot in the Virginia countryside for 6 days. Being there, you were almost transported on this set back to this time. And when Paul Revere rides up, the light's coming through the windows, and he rides up and yells,
"Turn out! Turn out and pass the word!"
What is it?
The regulars are on the road towards Concord.
This moment in the film, it takes you back. It's transcendent. An overriding concern that we always had in the backs of our minds was the cinematic experience.
When Chris Beland approached us for this project, there was the absolute goal to have this be very real, to be immersive, and to get your heart pumping, and for you to really see. You wanted to see the faces of the people. You wanted to see the detail of the uniforms and all those things as though you're there. And so this enveloping curved screen that's all the way around you brings you as close to the action as you can be.
We're going to use 3 projectors that will give us the opportunity of showing this film on a wide screen, 28 feet, that will surround the audience. We're going to have the sound effects, the passing of a mini ball, the visceral feeling of the rumbling of gunfire, and the sounds that were there that morning are all part of this experience.
It's going to take you into the story, into the history. And not only are you going to witness it, you're going to experience it. You're going to feel it. You're going to come out emotionally moved.
We learn these things in school when we're 12, 14 years old, but they don't have the impact and the gravity that they have now that I'm a parent, that I'm a citizen. And I find it interesting to in the process of making this movie, I've learned more about the Founding Fathers. I think there's more gravity to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this because I do think it's an important story. I think it tells us who we are, and it works as sort of a roadmap to where we're going.
In telling this story, Historic Tours of America, along with all the people who made this possible, we felt an obligation to tell the story differently. Certainly the shot heard around the world has been told before, in films and in books, and we felt, however, that telling it with a level of authenticity and the immersive atmosphere in which it will be shown completes the picture of the importance and the overriding significance of this event in American history.
Anyone that thought they knew what happened in April 1775 are really going to know what happened in April 1775 after they see this museum and after they see this film.
I think when people walk out of the theater, they're going to have a sense of patriotism, and they're going to remember it. It's going to be a piece of history that they'll never forget.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help us produce more compelling historical content like this, please like, comment below, and share this video with fellow history buffs. And of course, be sure to subscribe to help keep history happening.